Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. This weekend I got to dive into DragonCon and it was packed with amazing panels, cosplay, and some really fun surprises along the way. From the vendor hall to the late night con energy, I tried to catch as much as I could, so come hang out with me at DragonCon. So after getting everyone checked in at the hotel, I make a beeline for the line for badges because I heard it was really long this year, and they were very right. It was so long. Also, the hotel where badge pickup is like the furthest possible point from our hotel than it can be on like the con footprint. So it was kind of a long walk on top of the long wait. So after I picked up everyone's badges, I headed off to the Hilton, which is one of the host hotels, and they decorate like with a theme every year, and this year's theme was How to Tame Your Dragon. So everything was Viking and dragon themed, and it was so cool. They even had themed backdrops for you to take photos. So the rooftop of the Hilton is where they have all of the big photo shoots, and I was here for the Venture Brothers photo shoot because I do the Venture Brothers photo scavenger hunt every year. It's one of my highlights of my con. So I wanted to get some photos of actual Venture Brothers costumes for the scavenger hunt. So this photo shoot was going on at the same time as the Venture Brother one. I have no idea what they're dressed as. If you know, please leave a comment down below because I'm not really sure. So I head back to the hotel to meet up with my husband and a little bit of an outfit check real quick. And then we head out to go meet up with some friends at the gaming area. Some of our friends want to play arcade games, some want to play card games and board games and stuff. I wanted to check out the tabletop games because some of them looked really cool and they were already set up. Like I really like this one. It was like a western town. It looked really neat. And I also wanted to see all the painted minifigures they had on display. I really want to start getting into painting miniature figures so I can work and fix up all of the figures I use for my photography. And then my first real panel of the day was going to be Monster Romance. However, even though we got there 30 minutes early, we still couldn't get in. It was already full. So this video footage is taken of me waiting outside the door, hoping that someone leaves so I can get in, but no one ever left. So I decided to get to the next one super early. So we got there like an hour, maybe an hour and a half early just to make sure we got in. And we're really glad we did it because not only did we have a lot of fun at the panel, we had a lot of fun waiting for the panel actually. Because we're hanging out with the panelists and the other people waiting. It was a lot of fun. So after that, we head over to the next hotel, and I don't have enough time to explain to you the shrine culture at DragonCon. It's weird and it's complicated. But here's one of the shrines that was on the way to the Marriott for one of the characters from K-pop Demon Hunter. So the Marriott is one of the main hotels. It's like the big party hotel. I can't play the sound from this video because of they're playing club music and everything, and I'll get like a copyright strike. But trust me, it's super loud. And it's been a while since I've been to a convention that was this crowded this early on. I'm not used to DragonCon being this crowded already on the first like half day. So we could just go up to the first floor so we can kind of hang out and actually hear ourselves think over everything and also still kind of look at all the costumes. And we do that for the rest of the night. So I start off my day by heading out to an early panel, which is a Let's Play of Stardew Valley, where someone's playing Stardew Valley and everyone in the audience kind of gets to help make decisions on some of the stuff in the game. It was a lot of fun. I got there kind of early, so I had a good chunk of time to wait, so I started to start reading The Gingerbread Bakery by Lori Gilmore, which is an arc that I have. If you want to hear more about what I was reading and everything at DragonCon, I do have a What I Read at DragonCon video that's going to be up on my other channel if you want to check that out. I'll have that linked above and below and all that good stuff. I recommend you check it out because I actually read a lot during DragonCon. I almost finished a whole book. I also got a raffle ticket there, and I almost won. I was only like one number off. I was so disappointed. But I had a lot of fun. The audience made some decisions in the game that I typically don't make in my Stardew Valley runs, so it was really fun to see like different outcomes that I usually don't have in my games. There was also a bunch of Stardew Valley cosplayers there, so it was really fun seeing costumes I normally don't see from the game. So next, I met up with my husband for a panel on the psychology of Superman, and unfortunately I couldn't stay for the whole panel. I wasn't feeling very well. I was feeling kind of faint. And so I left to get some fresh air for a little bit, and I read a little bit more. And then after that, we went to go get food because we figured out it was probably because I was really hungry. So I went to go sit at the table while Sam went to go out our lunch. So after that, I went back to the hotel for a little bit to relax and help my husband get ready for his stuff that afternoon. So we went to a really cool photo shoot for Warhammer. So I leave the photo shoot a little early so I can make my next panel, which is all about decoding the differences between fantasy and romantasy as genres. It was really fascinating. I've been going to a lot of bookish panels this year. I don't remember there being this many previous years.
So we're going to dive in. I'm going to put on my professor hat for a moment, and we're going to talk real quickly about what romantasy is. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So let's talk about the different components that make it up, okay? So you've got romance. Romance focuses entirely on the love story, with a guaranteed happily ever after or happily for now. So when you see HEA and HFN, that's what that references. It's usually character driven with minimal fantasy elements. So, like some examples of that would be like the ends with us, the love hypothesis, right? What are some of your guys' favorite romances? Disney's up there too, right? Yeah.
After that, I go to the Venture Brother booth so I can go ahead and get the list for the photo scavenger hunt this year. I do this every year. It's so much fun. And I pop into the art show for just a second. And then I get a text from my husband saying that he's in line for our next panel, which is the live D&D show. So I head over to go meet him in line, and the line is super long. But luckily the space is also equally huge, and so it's not that big of a problem. The show was great. Sam and I agreed that it's one of the best ones we've been to.
Welcome to tonight's performance of improvised Dungeons and/or Dragons. I am the Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of swords and sword.
And then after that, it's my turn to hold our place in line, and I read for a little bit while I wait for our next panel, which is Pirate Improv, which is a really fun panel that we go to every year, where people dress up as pirates and they do like a mock trial, like they would have done on the old pirate ships. And that's the last thing we do that night, and so we head back to the hotel to go to bed, and I read for a little bit before I go to sleep, and that's the end of the day. So the next morning starts with a quick outfit check. I'm very proud of myself. I actually made this skirt. I'm very happy with it. I made it very last minute. I think I made it like the night before the con and worked on it that morning as well. So it's Saturday, which is the most busy day of con. It's also the most crowded, and so I get extra early start to make sure I get to my panel on time. There's a bunch of extra crowds because today is the parade, and so also some of the roads are blocked off. So my first thing in the morning is a silent reading party, which basically just means that we're all in a room reading silently all together, and it's just a really nice break from all the chaos in DragonCon, and I got a lot of reading done. Now I get a bunch of cool, like little bookish little things, like some stickers and some Percy Jackson ribbons for my friends. They also had some blind dates with a book that were really neat. I've always wanted to try that. And they also had some donuts. And as I'm walking back, I see some of the parade. So after my quiet, chill reading hour, I have to walk through all of the insanity that is the con parade to get to where I'm going to meet my husband so we can go into the vendor mall, which was also crazy. Apparently when the vendors got removed because they were selling AI art. Not any of these though. They were already removed by the time I got there. And then I make it to my next panel, which is all about toxic book boyfriends.
We are going to be going to discuss, can I fix him? Really? Or, what did I write down? Can I fix him? No, really, I can't. I have self-analyzed so much of why I like the toxic book boyfriends. But also, we say book boyfriends just as a general term, but we recognize that there are so many different forms of love and love interests. So, you know, our toxic love interests. I'm going to try and be a little more mindful about that going forward. But we're going to be talking toxic love. All right. So from the Fruity Bad Boys to the Morally Gray. And if my lovely panelists will introduce themselves.
I am Ashley Boston. I am the New York Times bestselling author of quite a few adult romances, including The 7-Year Slip and the Dead Romantics, Novel Love Story, and Sounds Like Love. And I've also written a bunch of YA, including the Geekarella trilogy, Kate Bishop, Bishop Takes King. Ah! Yay! Ruby Craziness. And some sci-fi and fantasy. Anyway, I come from fanfic, so I'm just read me for filth with every question.
And I was really surprised to see Ashley post in there. I did not know she was going to be at the con. I really wish I had brought one of her books with me for her to sign, but all I had for her to sign was a bookmark I had bought in the vendor mall. And then right after that, I go to a panel about cozy gaming.
Yeah, so in this panel we're going to talk about cozy games, think like your Fern Gully, your Once Upon a Forest, just things you want to curl up with a blanket and some hot chocolate, that kind of vibe.
Listening to this panel was fascinating, and it really made me realize that I want to try more cozy games other than just Stardew Valley and Sims and Animal Crossing. It also got me really interested in the concept of a cozy D&D game. My next panel was the 20 Years of Twilight panel. It was a lot of fun in line, actually. People were handing out fun bookish stickers, and I even got a Fourth Wing badge ribbon that I quickly put on my badge. Ashley Poston was a panelist in this one as well, and everyone was talking about how Twilight has impacted them personally and the publishing industry in general. It was really cool. Maybe I want to rewatch and reread Twilight.
Okay, so obviously young adult existed before Twilight, but how do you feel Twilight contributed to the marketing of YA and why? Or if I'm wrong, if it didn't exist before Twilight, tell me about its origins.
So it did exist before Twilight.
Sort of.
Kind of. It wasn't like.
And then after that, I go meet up with my husband to go do costume stuff for the rest of the night. Marriott hotels where it's like really big deal for costumes, so a lot of the bigger ones will just hang out there and you can take photos with them and you go like people watch or costume watch. It's a lot of fun. So we do that until late into the night and go back to bed. So the next day is Sunday. That's usually when we do all of our Star Wars stuff, and so I'm wearing my Star Wars shirt that I made. If you want to see the video where I made it, I will link it down below. I'll try and link it up above, but I'm not sure it will let me link videos from another channel or not. And then appropriately, I go to my first Star Wars panel, which is the fashion of Andor, which was very interesting. And after my panel, I find the free little library in DragonCon. I didn't have much time to really look because my Star Wars top had like messed up, and so I was looking for a cosplay medic for some safety pins. But I didn't see anything that immediately was like, strike my fancy. So I got some safety pins to work on my top. I later also got a sewing needle and some thread as well. And then I met up with my husband for an insurance in the MCU panel, which sounds boring, but was actually really interesting. And then I had bought a shirt previously when we went to the vendor mall and it doesn't fit. And so I went back to the vendor mall to get a smaller size. Also, this is the first time I've ever seen labubus in the wild. I have never seen them actually for sale anywhere before. So you tell me, is that a good price for them? I don't know. I thought they were cheap little blind bag things, not $35. I found some cool booths that were selling some cute like plushies and some other stuff, Pokemon cards. And my husband and I go to the Chessex dice booth every year and just look around at all the pretty dice, and we get the limited edition one every year too. So I'm just doing a little outfit check while I wait for my husband to get our food. This is the shirt that I bought while I was at the vendor mall. I changed into it real quick so I can work on my Star Wars top because a few more seams had broken on it. And appropriately, I fixed it while waiting for my next sewing panel, which was about sewing clothes from the Regency.
A topic that we're all passionate about. So we're going to start out from the inside out. We'll talk about the underpinnings and the importance of those things, and then cover moving outside and the tops, the bottoms, the accessories, and things that really will complete your look into something that you're looking to do. I will also say we'll have some questions time for questions at the end, if that's okay with everybody. If you do have a really pressing question, you've got another engagement that you absolutely have to go to.
And then I'm still working on it while I'm waiting for my next panel, which was about the tropes in Bridgerton.
Right, so shall we dive in with that inside?
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to act or mention like the purpose of like tropes, because it provides that like comfort to you when you're seeing something that you know is not real and you're like, oh, this is so nice. You can just dive into it for a moment. But also too with like the tropes, we're gonna look at it from that therapeutic lens, and so like attachment and like what does it mean when you like a certain trope versus another. And so with attachment, there's different types. So secure attachment, which means you like boundaries and you're warm and you're caring. It's really healthy. If you're an anxious attachment, that means you don't have any sense of boundaries, you're kind of clingy, you have a fear of abandonment, and we're going to talk about who is which of these two. And then there's another two, which is avoidant and disorganized, which we won't really dive into too much, but the names kind of speak for itself.
See that more with the superheroes.
Yes. So we're going to dive into like the tropes and which attachment there are too, and then just like, you know, more therapeutic things.
And then last but not least is Blinking Beasties, which is a paranormal and monster romance panel that we go to every year. And this year we agreed that it's like one of the best it's ever been, and we really like the moderator they had for this year. So after the panel, we went to our Star Wars party that we go to every year with all the people from Sam's Old Costume Club. And we met up with some other friends that we only ever get to see at DragonCon, so it was a lot of fun. And I don't have any videos or photos or anything from it because I was really in the moment and didn't want to, have my phone out. So Monday we didn't really do a lot. We just packed everything up from our hotel really early, and we were able to get the MARTA back and go to a few panels and a few little things. Though we were honestly just so tired that after one panel we just went ahead and just went back home. So that's the end of DragonCon and the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!